Welcome, learners, to another deep dive. Today we're taking a fascinating journey back in time. We're unraveling a story of immense personal loyalty, unexpected kindness, and, well, a surprising turn of events. We're diving into a single ancient source, a narrative you might know as the Book of Ruth. This isn't just some old text. It's a remarkably compact story, really rich with human drama, cultural insights, and connections that echo through history.
Exactly. Our mission for this deep dive is really to pull out the most important insights from this narrative. We'll be exploring these profound themes of resilience, the surprising nature of provision, and the whole concept of redemption, both personal and, within a family lineage. You'll see how even in times of just devastating loss, remarkable opportunities can pop up from humble beginnings and, frankly, extraordinary choices.
Okay, let's start to unpack this. The story opens in a time of judges and famine. So picture this family: Elimelech, his wife Naomi, and their two sons, Mahlon and Chilion. They're leaving their home, Bethlehem, Judah, because of a really severe famine. They make this difficult decision to go and live basically as refugees in the country of Moab.
Yeah, a tough start.
Thusly. And the narrative quickly takes a tragic turn for Naomi. After about 10 years over in Moab, her husband Elimelech dies.
And then it gets worse.
Right. Then both her sons, Mahlon and Chilion, who had married Moabite women named Orpah and Ruth, they also die. So Naomi is left completely alone, no husband, no sons, in a foreign land.
What's truly striking here is Naomi's response to this series of just devastating losses. When she hears the famines ended back in Judah, that the Lord has provided food, she decides to return. But she urges her two daughters-in-law, Orpah and Ruth, to go back to their own mother's homes. She actually prays for them to find rest, new husbands.
And she's pretty blunt about her own prospects, isn't she?
Oh, completely. She basically explains her own bleak outlook, saying, the Lord's hand has gone out against me. You can just feel the bitterness and hopelessness coming through.
It's an incredibly emotional moment, isn't it? Grief and love all tangled up. Both daughters-in-law, at first, they insist, no, we're going with you.
Mm-hmm.
But Naomi keeps pushing back, painting this really stark picture of their future with her. She emphasizes she has nothing left to offer them, basically.
And this brings up a critical moment. How do people respond when they're faced with what looks like a totally hopeless situation? Orpah, well, she ultimately kisses her mother-in-law goodbye. She returns to her own people and her gods. It's a practical decision, really, in a world with very limited options for women like them. Heartbreaking, but understandable.
But this is the pivotal moment. This changes everything. Ruth, however, she clings to Naomi. Her response is, it's one of those famous declarations of loyalty probably ever written. She says, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God.
Wow.
Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if anything but death separates you and me." Just incredible resolve.
And her words are so much more than just, nice sentiment. Ruth, remember, she's a Moabitess.
Yeah.
That means she belongs to a group often seen as outsiders, even enemies sometimes, by the Israelites. So she's making this incredibly radical choice. She's not just choosing to stay with Naomi, she's choosing to embrace a foreign land, a foreign people, and significantly a foreign God. It's an act of profound commitment that just flies in the face of the social norms of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Naomi, seeing Ruth's, unshakable resolve, she stops trying to talk her out of it.
And so the two women arrive back in Bethlehem. And it happens to be just as the barley harvest is beginning, which is significant. The whole town is stirred up by their return. You hear the women exclaiming, "Can this really be Naomi?"
After everything she's been through.
Exactly. But Naomi tells them, "Don't call me Naomi," which means pleasant. "Call me Mara," which means bitter, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. "I went away full," she says, "but the Lord has brought me back empty." You can truly feel that profound sense of loss, even as Ruth, her only remaining family now, stands faithfully right there beside her.
Such a powerful scene.
Okay, so they're back in Bethlehem. Now, Naomi has a relative from her late husband Elimelech's side of the family, a man of considerable standing named Boaz. And Ruth, showing amazing initiative, really, and just a practical spirit, asks Naomi, "Can I go to the fields and glean leftover grain? Follow behind the harvesters."
Which was a provision allowed for the poor in Israelite law.
Right. And Naomi agrees. It's really their best chance for survival at this point.
And what's fascinating here is how the narrative introduces this element of seemingly, sheer luck or perhaps providence. Ruth, purely by chance, it seems, finds herself working in a field that belongs to this very Boaz. It's not like a pre-planned strategy yet, but it's an immediate and really significant stroke of luck, or maybe something more, that sets the stage for everything that follows.
So Boaz comes out from Bethlehem, greets his harvesters, the Lord be with you, and they reply. And he immediately notices Ruth. He asks his foreman, whose young woman is that?
And the foreman explains, she's the Moabitess who came back with Naomi. She asked to glean, and she's been working hard all morning.
And Boaz's response is just remarkable kindness. It goes way beyond what was expected or required by law.
Absolutely. He tells Ruth, listen, stay here in my field, stay close to my servant girls. I've told the men not to bother you. And he offers her water from their jars whenever she's thirsty.
And then at mealtime, he actually invites her to eat with him in the harvesters. Offers her bread, tells her to dip it in the wine vinegar, gives her roasted grain. He makes sure she eats until she's full and even has some left over.
It's incredibly generous.
But it doesn't stop there. As she gets up to glean again, Boaz gives these specific orders to his men. He says, let her gather even among the sheaves, meaning right where the cut grain is bundled. Don't embarrass her. In fact, he says, pull out some stalks for her from the bundles and leave them for her to pick up, and don't rebuke her. This isn't just permission to glean, it's basically an instruction to actively help her, to make her task easier and way more fruitful.
It's extraordinary, which makes you ask, right? Why? Why such incredible kindness, especially to a foreigner, a Moabitess?
Exactly. And Ruth herself asks him. She bows down, totally overwhelmed, and asks why she's found such favor in his eyes, seeing as she's a foreigner.
And Boaz reveals his motivation. He tells her he's been fully informed, he says, all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband.
Ah, so he knows the story.
Yes. He says, how you left your father and mother and your homeland and came to live with a people you did not know before. He sees her loyalty, her sacrifice, and then he blesses her, saying, may you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. His generosity is a direct response to her courageous loyalty. He sees her character, her devotion, more than her background.
That's powerful. So Ruth gleans this impressive amount, about an ephah of barley. Now, to give you a sense, an ephah is what, roughly 30 to 50 pounds of grain?
Yeah, it's a lot. A really substantial haul for one person gleaning for a day.
Definitely. She brings it back to Naomi, along with the leftover food Boaz gave her. And when Ruth tells her it was Boaz's field she was in, Naomi just exclaims, the Lord bless him.
A shift from her earlier bitterness.
Totally. He has not stopped showing his kindness, Naomi says, to the living and the dead. And then she reveals this critical piece of information, the piece that sets the whole next phase of the story in motion. She says, that man is our close relative. He is one of our kinsman redeemers.
Right, the goal. This term, kinsman redeemer, is absolutely central here. In ancient Israelite law and custom, a goel was a close male relative who had specific responsibilities. These duties were about protecting the family's lineage, their property, their honor. It could mean buying back land that had been sold out of hardship or avenging a death, or crucially for a widow like Ruth.
Marrying her.
Exactly. Marrying her to provide an heir for her deceased husband, ensuring his name and lineage wouldn't die out. So Naomi suddenly sees a potential path forward, a future for Ruth through Boaz.
Okay, so with the harvest, both barley and wheat now ending, Naomi shifts gears. She moves from just survival thinking to, strategy. She says to Ruth, my daughter, shouldn't I try to find a home for you, a place of rest where you'll be well provided for? Now, isn't Boaz, with whose servant girls you have been, isn't he a kinsman of ours?
You can see her mind working. She clearly has this quite bold plan forming, a plan for Boaz to step up and fulfill that role of kinsman redeemer.
And the plan itself is, it's remarkable. And definitely culturally specific, maybe even a bit daring for the time.
Very much so. Naomi tells Ruth, wash, put on perfume, get dressed in your best clothes, and go down to the threshing floor where Boaz will be winnowing barley that night. Now, the threshing floor was often an open communal spot outside the village, usually on high ground to catch the wind for winnowing. It could be busy during the day but quieter at night, maybe even a place for a bit of a harvest celebration.
And the crucial part of the instruction.
Right. Naomi tells Ruth not to let Boaz know she's there until after he's finished eating and drinking. Then, once he lies down to sleep, maybe after having a bit of wine, feeling content she is, to note the spot where he lies down, go over quietly, uncover his feet, and lie down there.
Uncover his feet.
Yes. It's a gesture of humility, submission perhaps, but also positioning herself under his protection, implicitly asking him to take responsibility. Naomi tells Ruth he will tell you what to do. She's trusting Boaz's character.
And Ruth, despite how, unconventional or maybe even risky this sounds to us, just replies, I will do whatever you say. She trusts Naomi completely.
It shows incredible trust and courage on Ruth's part.
Absolutely. So she goes down to the threshing floor, waits until Boaz is eaten and drunk and lies down, feeling good. She approaches quietly.
And this leads right into that pivotal midnight encounter. In the middle of the night, Boaz is startled. He wakes up, feels something at his feet, and there's a woman there. He asks, understandably, "Who are you?"
And Ruth's reply is direct. And it's loaded with cultural significance. She says, I'm your servant Ruth. Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a kinsman redeemer.
That phrase, spread the corner of your garment, it's key. It's a symbolic request. She's asking for his protection, essentially asking for marriage, asking him to fulfill his duty as her Goel, her kinsman redeemer. It's a very bold claim, really placing herself entirely under his protection and responsibility.
How does Boaz react? Because this could go very wrong.
It could, but his response is full of praise, not anger or confusion. He immediately blesses her. He calls her a woman of noble character, a really high compliment, eshet sheol in Hebrew, the same term used for the ideal wife in Proverbs 31.
So he recognizes her worth.
Completely. He says everyone in town knows her character, and he emphasizes that this kindness, meaning her seeking him out to preserve her late husband's family line, is greater than that which you showed earlier to Naomi. He points out she didn't go chasing after younger men, whether rich or poor, but chose the proper, though maybe less romantic, path, according to custom, to ensure the family name continued.
But there's a hitch, right?
Yes, there's a complication. And Boaz, being honorable, addresses it straight away. He reveals, okay, look, although it is true that I am a near kinsman, there is a kinsman redeemer who is nearer than I am.
Ah, so someone else has the first right, legally.
Exactly. According to the customs, there's another relative with a stronger claim, or the first right, maybe a brother or closer cousin of Elimelech, to fulfill this role. So what does this mean for Ruth and Boaz, and for Naomi's plan?
What does Boaz say he'll do?
He promises to handle it properly, legally. He says, stay here tonight. In the morning, if he wants to redeem you, fine, let him redeem you. But if he is not willing, then as surely as the Lord lives, I will do it. He makes a vow.
So he commits to marrying her if the other guy won't.
Yes. And then he tells her to stay there until morning, but leave before it's light enough for people to recognize her, to protect both her reputation and his own. He's being very careful.
And before she leaves.
Before she leaves, just before dawn, he gives her another substantial gift. 6 measures of barley. Again, a very generous amount. He tells her essentially, don't go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed, showing continued provision and care.
So Ruth gets back home, tells Naomi what happened. And Naomi is confident, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. Naomi basically says, just wait, my daughter, until you find out how things play out, for the man will not rest until the matter is settled today. She knows Boaz. She trusts his character and his commitment to do things the right way and quickly.
Okay, segment 4. Redemption, marriage, and legacy. True to his word, Boaz wastes absolutely no time. That very day, he goes up to the town gate.
Which is the main public square, essentially. The place for legal matters, business deals, civic announcements in ancient towns.
Right. He sits down there kind of strategically waiting. And sure enough, the near kinsman, the one he mentioned, comes along. Boaz calls him over. Hey, friend, come over here and sit down. And he also gathers 10 elders of the town. Why 10?
10 men often constituted a quorum, providing official witnesses needed for a legally binding transaction in that culture. So this is all very public and official.
Got it. So Boaz lays out the situation. He says, Naomi, who has come back from Moab, is selling the piece of land that belonged to our relative Elimelech.
So it starts with the land.
Yes. And Boaz says to the nearer kinsman, I thought I should bring this to your attention here in front of the elders. You have the first right to redeem it. If you want to buy it back for the family, do it. If not, tell me so I know, because I'm next in line.
And initially, the kinsman says,
He says, I will redeem it. Seems straightforward. Maybe he wants the land.
But then comes the catch.
Exactly. Here's the crucial clarification from Boaz, the twist that changes everything. Boaz says, okay, just so you know, on the day you buy the land from Naomi, you also acquire Ruth the Moabitess, the dead man's widow. Why? In order to maintain the name of the dead with his property, it's a package deal. Redeem the land, marry the widow, raise up children in the name of the deceased to inherit that land.
And this is where, duty might clash with personal interest or perceived cost. How does the nearer kinsman react to that news?
He immediately backs out. He says, "Oh, then I cannot redeem it for myself because I might endanger my own estate."
What does that mean, endanger his own estate?
Well, probably a few things. He might be worried about the financial burden of supporting Ruth and any future children. Or maybe it complicates his own inheritance plans for his existing children, dividing his property further. Whatever the reason, the added responsibility of marrying Ruth makes the deal unattractive to him.
So he refuses.
Yep. He says, "You redeem it yourself. I cannot do it." And then he performs this ancient Israelite custom we mentioned. He takes off his sandal and gives it to Boaz.
Right, the sandal thing. What did that signify again?
It was a public, symbolic act that sealed the deal. It legally confirmed the transfer of rights and obligations, in this case, the right of redemption. Very visual, very binding.
So now the way is clear for Boaz.
Completely clear. Boaz turns to the elders and all the people gathered there and announces, "Today you are witnesses that I have bought from Naomi all the property of Elimelech, Kilion, and Mahlon."
Yeah.
And furthermore, he says, "I have also acquired Ruth the Moabitess, Mahlon's widow, as my wife, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property, so that his name will not disappear from among his family or from the town records." It's a powerful public declaration of his commitment to both the law and to Ruth.
And how do the people react?
They respond with these powerful blessings. The elders and the people of the gaze say to Boaz, "We are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah."
Wow, invoking the matriarchs who built up the house of Israel. That's huge.
It really is. They continue. "Who together built up the house of Israel. May you have standing in Ephrathah and be famous in Bethlehem. And may your family be like that of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, through the offspring the Lord gives you by this young woman."
Mentioning Perez and Tamar is also significant, linking this to another somewhat unconventional story in Judah's lineage that ultimately led to greatness. They're wishing him a strong and important lineage.
So Boaz takes Ruth as his wife. The narrative is very simple here. He went to her, the Lord enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth to a son.
And the focus shifts back to Naomi for a moment.
Yes, the women of Bethlehem celebrate with Naomi. They tell her, "Praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a kinsman redeemer." They see Boaz and the child as God's provision for her. They say, "May he, the child, become famous throughout Israel. He will renew your life and sustain you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you and who is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth." What an affirmation of Ruth.
Better than 7 sons. In that patriarchal society, that's an incredible statement about Ruth's loyalty and value to Naomi.
And the story concludes with Naomi taking the child, laying him in her lap, becoming his nurse, essentially, caring for him as if he were her own grandson, which he is, but it fulfills that emptiness she felt.
And the neighborhood women give him his name. They name him Obed.
Obed. And this is where the story connects to something much, much bigger, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is where the profound historical significance just clicks into place. The text tells us Obed was the father of Jesse.
And Jesse was the father of David.
Exactly, King David. So this seemingly small, intensely personal story about a Moabite widow's radical loyalty, her mother-in-law's grief and eventual guidance, and an Israelite man's extraordinary kindness and integrity. It directly leads into the lineage of King David himself. It links this intimate tale of individual resilience, choice, and faithfulness to the grand narrative of Israelite history and, for many traditions, messianic hope. The source document, Ruth.pdf, even lays out the genealogy explicitly from Perez right down to David.
Wow, just incredible how it all ties together. So what does all this mean for us learners? We've journeyed through this deep dive into Ruth.pdf, starting with famine, loss, bitterness, a foreign land, and ending with provision, redemption, the establishment of this vital lineage, and, well, a profound legacy.
Yeah, this story really powerfully illustrates the transformative power of loyalty, doesn't it? You see it in Ruth's unwavering commitment to Naomi, just refusing to leave her side. And then you see Naomi's strategic boldness later on guiding Ruth. And of course, the immense impact of kindness and integrity personified by Boaz, who fully understood and embraced his complex role as that kinsman redeemer, the goal.
It's a truly powerful narrative, isn't it? About how these unexpected relationships, a Moabite daughter-in-law and her Israelite mother-in-law, a foreign widow and a respected landowner, can lead to incredible unforeseen outcomes. And how seemingly small personal choices, like Ruth's decision just to stay, or Boaz's decision to show that extraordinary generosity in the field, can end up having these monumental historical repercussions. ultimately connecting, as we saw, to the lineage of one of the most famous kings in history.
Which leaves us with a lot to think about, doesn't it? This ancient story. What does it tell you about the nature of family? Family made by blood, but also family made by choice, by loyalty. And what about the unexpected ways our own lives can unfold, maybe even turning from seemingly bitter beginnings into something hopeful? Consider what it really means to offer refuge or to receive it. What does it mean to find yourself under the wings of protection and provision, maybe when you least expect it?
Some deep questions to ponder there.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep getting well informed. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.